Hi friends, this is my first video on, I just randomly selected a topic. So this is the first video that I'm recording at my home studio. So there's like a green screen on the back. So this is the home studio. So basically, today's topic is going to be, so we are all quarantining uh, due to COVID-19. So we are all at home doing our thing in our own spaces. So basically not going out and doing much. So this first video is about the differences between the three kinds of colleges. There's community college, there's a state college, and then there's a private college. So the community colleges generally are, I'll just describe each one of them for you, and then we can go back and review each of the different colleges for their pros and the cons. So basically, the community college is a 2-year college, basically, and it's not a 4-year college. It's just a 2-year college where the state gives you funds. And the state colleges are a 4-year college where the state gives you funds too, but there's tuition too for that. So community colleges generally have all three colleges have tuitions that they get from the students, but they get state funds to spend. So the community colleges have 2-year colleges for students, which gets funds not as much as state, and the state colleges have 4-year colleges, and they get funds from the state too. And then there are private colleges where there are endowments, and endowments are complicated, but they have endowments and they don't get funds from the state, but they get donations and from the alumni, and that's a 4-year college mostly. Those are private colleges which have massive endowments. You know, it could be restricted, it could be non-restricted donations and endowments, but that is basically how they use those funds to run the colleges. So there are 3 pros and cons for each. So according to me, this is completely my opinion. I've been through all 3, so I know exactly what all 3 entail. So the three pros for community colleges are, I would say, it's very, very inexpensive. It's a few $100 per credit hour, and it's a 2-year college, so it's basically a few $100 per credit hour. So it's very, very inexpensive. Then there is the flexibility to take as many credits as you want. You don't have to finish your certificate. You don't have to finish your degree. You can just get as many credits and move on and maybe transfer to a state college or a private college. So that's the pros. The third pro is generally community colleges are everywhere in the community, so they are closest to your place you stay. So it's the closest to home. So it's easy to travel, easy to, basically, you don't need transportation. You don't have to actually move to a different state. So that's basically the pros. The cons are the resources. The resources are a massive, massive problem. They don't have, they wouldn't have a lot of research material. They wouldn't have softwares to work on. They would probably be doing with Microsoft Excel what the state school would be doing with MATLAB maybe, or the private school would be doing with SAS for statistics. That's just an example. There will be simple things like there were instances where I didn't know how to use a meter stick, as simple as meter stick, or a weighing scale for that matter, and there was no help. So the microscopes are old, that's a basic problem. The resources are low. The second problem is the leadership and the general teacher authority. They don't have a lot of authority. They don't teach much, and I guess it's just the resources. It's the time they put in they don't have enough time. There are lots of students, they just can't concentrate on them. So that's where the problem really arises. Then there is network probleming, where not network in the sense of internet network, and probably that's one of the factors too. But the networking is about the alumni itself, like the students that come together and make things happen. In most of the other universities, is totally missing. The state schools are the best of both worlds, where it's better than community, but a little worse off than the private schools. The state schools, basically the same three factors: lesser expensive, less expensive than the private schools, because it's state funded. It's a 4-year school, so that's a good thing. But the 4-year school has its own limitations, where it's not flexible enough, but it's a 4-year school. We need a 4-year school to get a degree. Then it's not always the closest to home, but it's somewhere in the state. So, and it's the closest for the state. If you live in a particular state, and some state schools are fabulous, like, like the state schools in New Jersey and New York, and they're fabulous. So that basically is the pro. The cons are, again, lesser resources. You'll use probably a MATLAB instead of SAS in a private school, so lesser resources. And then again, the teachers they get are of a good quality, but not up to the mark like the private schools get. And then there is there are a reasonable amount of networking you could do, but not as much as a private school. So there's a reasonable amount of resources to network with your alumni, but not as much as the private school. Now, the private school here has got the best resources. They would probably have SAS for your disposal. They would have all the libraries, the PubMeds, and all kinds of things. And even the ones that are, Cochrane and the Cochrane Library. There are lots of other libraries for you to go and look at research papers and get your information. They will have a lot of software for you to work on, and all you have to do is to get into that network, and you will find all these resources. The teachers are a lot well equipped, so the teachers would help you better. They're definitely from better universities. Most of them are PhDs. The network is better. They're better students, and they've all graduated and gotten into better corporate roles or better schools, and would definitely create a different kind of alumni experience in general. And there would also be networking help from them if you needed help to get into some field, or to know a certain degree of you'd get help with topics you didn't understand, or with the ventures that you wanted to get in and you are not too sure. That is the help you'll get from them. So that's the networking. The biggest con for a private school is the expense. The private schools average between $30,000 to $50,000 a year, so that's the expense is the biggest deal. This is basically what I have gathered from the 3 systems of schools in United States for higher education, and I would encourage you to comment below about what school did you go to? What was your experience with a certain kind of school? And is there any other pros and cons that you can think of? This is higher education, so this is from your after your high school. So please let me know, and we'll discuss this further. And let me know what kind of videos you want me to do. I will come up with topics in random and try to do videos that will be helpful for you. So basically, see you next week. Thank you so much. Bye.